Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Priyanka Goyal, Assistant Professor, Department of Obstetrics and Gynae, Mahatma Gandhi Medical College. Today I will be taking the lecture on anatomy of the female genital system. First let's talk about the vulva. Vulva has the following parts. First is the mons. It is a pad of fat overlying the symphysis pubis and covered by skin and hairs. Then comes the clitoris. It is an erectile cavernous structure below the symphysis pubis. It is formed of a small glands and two corpora cavernosa. Then comes labia majora, the outer two skin folds raised by underlying fat and passing back from the mons veneris to the perineum. The outer skin is covered by hairs while the inner medial surface smooth, hairless and contains sebaceous and sweat glands. Then comes labia minora, which are again the two thin folds of modified skin situated medial to the labia majora. Then comes the hymen. It is a membrane situated about 2 cm from the vestibule that demarcates the external from the internal genitalia and partially closes the vaginal orifice. There are types of hymen. This is in the virgin. Then comes it can be biperforate, it can be deflorated, it can be cribriform, or it can be imperforate hymen. Then comes the Bartholin glands. The Bartholin glands are the greater vestibular glands. They are bilateral compound racemose glands. They secrete mucus during sexual excitement, situated deep in the labia majora at the junction of the posterior and the middle thirds. Its duct is 2 cm long and opens between the hymen and the labium minus. Then comes the vestibule. It is the area between the inner aspects of the labia minora and the fourchette. Structure that opens in the vestibule are urethra, Bartholin gland ducts and the vagina. Then comes vestibular bulbs. These are the oblong masses of erectile tissue that lie on each side of the vaginal introitus. Then come external urethral meatus. It is a triangular slit in the anterior part of the vestibule below the clitoris in which the urethra opens. Skene's duct. It is two blindly ending paraurethral tubules which open in the floor of the urethra few millimeters from the external urethral meatus. Now comes the blood supply. The arterial supply comes from the internal pudendal artery. These are the terminal branches of the anterior division of the internal iliac artery that ends as the dorsal artery of the clitoris. These are the branches from the femoral artery which supply the anterior part and the superficial and deep external pudendal arteries. The venous drainage comes from the veins draining the vulva form a venous plexus from which veins accompany their corresponding arteries. The veins draining the clitoris join the vaginal and the vesical venous plexuses. Vulvar blood supply comes from the superficial dorsal vein, dorsal artery and nerve of the clitoris. Then the crus of the clitoris. This is the diagram which is showing all the parts of the vulva and the blood supply. Lymphatic drainage and nerve supply. Lymphatic drainage comes from the first from the skin and appendages to the superficial inguinal lymph nodes, then to the deep inguinal and then the femoral lymph nodes, of which the lymph node of Cloquet drains the clitoris directly. From the former superficial group, the lymphatic channels pass to the deep pelvic nodes including the external iliac, common iliac and then the finally paraaortic lymph nodes. Nerve supply of the vulva. The vulva is supplied mainly from the pudendal nerve which comes from S2, 3 and 4. Additional sensory nerves are supplied from the ilioinguinal nerve L1, genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve L1-2 and the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. This is the lymphatic drainage of the vulva and this is the innervation by ilioinguinal nerve, dorsal clitoris nerve, perineal branches, pudendal nerve and the inferior rectal nerve. Now comes the vagina. Vagina is the fibromuscular tube from the vulva to the uterus forming an angle of 45 degrees with the horizontal plane. The anterior wall is 8 to 9 cm and the posterior wall is 10 to 11 cm. Now the vaginal fornices. The cervix projects in the upper blind end of the vagina that forms a pouch around the cervix and is divided into 4 fornices, 2 lateral, 1 anterior and 1 posterior. Anatomical relations of the vagina. Anteriorly, in the upper 1/3 it is lined by the trigone of the urinary bladder. In the lower 2/3 lies the urethra. In the posterior part of the vagina, there is in upper 1/3 POD, that is the peritoneum of the pouch of Douglas. In the middle 1/3 ampulla of rectum lies and the lower 1/3 the perineal body. Then laterally in the lower and bulbocavernous muscle, vestibular bulb and the Bartholin gland. 1 cm above orifice is the urogenital diaphragm. 2.5 cm above the orifice, levator ani muscle with the pelvic fascia above it. The lateral fornix gives attachment to the lower part of the cardinal ligaments. The ureters pass through the cardinal ligaments 1 cm lateral to the vagina. Now the vaginal supports. The ligaments attached to the upper vagina are pubocervical ligament anteriorly, Mackenrod's ligament laterally, and the uterosacral ligament posteriorly. Levator ani muscles form the pubovaginalis part, the triangular ligament and the perineal membrane. Vaginal fascia is the connective tissue fascia that condenses anteriorly, forming the vesicovaginal fascia, and posteriorly the rectovaginal fascia. Now comes the histology of the vagina. The cut section of the vagina is H-shaped with the approximation of the anterior to the posterior vaginal walls. It is formed by three layers: mucosa, musculosa and adventitia. Mucosa is formed of squamous epithelium without the glands. Musculosa is the fibromuscular with some fibers from the levator ani muscles, and the adventitia, which is connective tissue continuous with the paracolpos. Blood supply is from the arterial is from the vaginal artery, and additional from the middle rectal, inferior rectal artery. They are the branches of internal iliac and the internal pudendal artery. Venous drainage is by the plexus around the vagina, that is the vaginal plexus, which drains into the internal iliac vein by the veins that accompany their corresponding arteries. The lymphatic drainage of the vagina: the lower one-third drains into the inguinal lymph nodes, upper one-third follows the lymphatic drainage of the cervix, and the middle one-third drains into both the upper and the lower directions. The vagina's nerve supply: the pudendal nerve gives sensory fibers to the lower vagina. Now the applied anatomy: vaginal prolapse first. The weakness of the vaginal ligament supports, that is the ligaments, fascia and muscles, may lead to the descent of the anterior vaginal wall, which is known as the cystocele or the urethrocoele. Descent of posterior vaginal wall is known as rectocele or enterocele, and descent of the vaginal vault after hysterectomy is known as the vault prolapse. The posterior fornix offers a passage to the POD for performing cholecystoscopy, cholecentesis, and for the drainage of a pelvic abscess. Then the lateral fornix: the ureter lies 1 to 2 cm lateral to it, so that it may be injured during clamping the angle of the vagina in hysterectomy. Then third comes the pudendal nerve block. Transvaginal injection of a local anesthetic solution around the pudendal nerve as it passes around the ischial spine gives a local anesthesia sufficient for minor operations on the vulva and the vagina, and has been used for low forceps operation in obstetrics. Now the uterus. The uterus is a pear-shaped hollow muscular organ measuring around 7.5 by 4 by 2.5 cm in the longitudinal, transverse and AP diameters respectively. It is slightly larger in the multipara than in the nullipara. Divisions: first is the corpus uteri, that is the body that lies above the internal os; cornu, the area of the insertion of the fallopian tubes; fundus, which lies above the insertion of the tube, and these three structures are attached to the cornu are the round ligaments anteriorly, fallopian tube centrally, and the ovarian ligament posteriorly. Then comes the isthmus. Isthmus is an area 4 to 5 mm in length that lies between the anatomical internal os above and the histological internal os below. It is lined by low columnar epithelium and few glands. The isthmus expands during pregnancy, forming the LUS, lower uterine segment, 10 cm during the last trimester. Then comes the cervix. The elongated lower part of the uterus is the cervix, measuring around 2.5 to 3 cm, divided by the vaginal attachment into supravaginal portion above and the vaginal portion, that is the posterior vaginalis, below. The cervical canal is the cavity that communicates above with the uterine cavity at the internal os and below with the vagina at the external os. The external os is round in nulliparous and slit shaped in multiparas. The cervical mucosa has two ridges, anterior and posterior, from which the transverse ridges radiate to form the arbor vitae uteri. Then the uterus is kept in an anteverted anteflexed position with the external os lying at the level of the ischial spines by the support of the cervical ligaments, endopelvic fascia and the pelvic floor muscles. Anteversion: the uterus is inclined anteriorly to the axis of the vagina. What is anteflexion? The body of the uterus is bent forwards upon the cervix, that is the angle between the uterus and the cervix. Now the relations of the uterus: anteriorly it is bound by the bladder and the vesicouterine pouch, posteriorly by POD and laterally by the broad ligament on each side. Relations of supravaginal cervix: anteriorly by urinary bladder again, posteriorly by the anterior wall of pouch of Douglas. Laterally, half an inch lateral to the internal os, the ureter is crossed by the uterine artery, that is the ureter below the uterine artery. The uterosacral, cardinal and the pubocervical ligaments are attached to its posterior, lateral and anterior surfaces respectively. Now the histology of the uterus. The uterus is lined by made up of three layers. First, the endometrium, that is the innermost layer, it is the mucosa. Then comes the myometrium, that is the muscular part, musculosa. Then the peritoneal covering or the perimetrium. First, endometrium. It is lined by simple cubicle or columnar epithelium, contains tubular glands and shows cyclic changes with the menstrual cycle under the effect of the ovarian hormones, that is the estrogen or the progesterone. Later part we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you.